You probably came here wondering what happened to my Mitsubishi Magna Ralliart. You need closure, so do I. Let's do it.
This episode of MotoringBox is proudly supported by Century Batteries.
I purchased this car about just over a year ago now. I had a lot of fun over the first few months working on it and getting to know it, getting to know how it works. I literally stripped the whole thing apart almost entirely and put it all back together better than before.
A great success!
You know, I think that is the best part of this whole journey that I've had with that car, is that it's really sort of broadened my horizons and opened my mind up to a car that I previously would have dismissed as a piece of shit. So with the Magna, I really got it to a stage where it was ready for paint. It needed some mechanical maintenance and whatnot, but really I wanted to get it painted. I didn't have a huge budget because really it was a car that cost me just over $5,000 to buy. It had a market value at the time of probably $12,000. So I did a bit of ringing around. I got some quotes that were around 10 grand. It was too much. I didn't want to pay that much. I still had it in my head that a closed door respray was about $2,000 or $3,000. So I found a bloke who came recommended from some of the car groups. He was a very interesting character. He worked out of a small workshop. He didn't have a proper paint spray booth or anything like that. I thought, you know what, don't hold it against him. I work out of a tiny 6x6 metre space here at home. I get plenty done. I wanted to use it as an opportunity to showcase what an average Australian can do. You know, someone who a lot of people would just walk away from. I wanted to give him a shot. I wanted to let his work shine, because from my perspective, he didn't seem to be doing very well. So I wanted to give him that chance. And he came back with a price of $3,500, which was really in the ballpark as well. So I accepted that, I dropped the car off, and that is where the wheels started to fall off. The car was with him for the first 3 weeks or so, and I would do a drive-by every now and then on my way to work, and I would just see the car sitting out the front with nothing going on. And that's really where the first alarm bells started to ring. It took him 3 weeks to sand back half of the roof, a couple of layers of paint, and discover, yeah, the car's had hail damage before, fair enough. Let's strip it back, let's get it patched up, ready to go. Now, I understand people have personal problems, they have things going on in their home life, but the customer should always come first. You know, if you can't do a job, don't take it on. If you know it's not going to get finished, let them know early, you know, come to an agreement. So time went by, about 2 months into it. It got to a stage where I was running out of time. I've mentioned this on the channel before. I had a family member who was going to have an operation. I needed to care for them. I had to sort of forget about cars at that point onwards for at least a couple of months. So I wanted the car back by then, no matter what. So I said to him, look, you've got about a month left. Can you paint it? And it seemed like he could. I had to chase him again and again, and eventually he just said, I don't think it's going to get done. So I made the call, said I'm going to come pick the car up and I'll drive it home. And that was really soul destroying to me. And yeah, that was probably the lowest point I've really ever been on my YouTube channel so far. I now had about $1,000 left. Who am I going to take the car to? Who's going to spray it? So you know what, I threw the cover over the car again. I just let it go. Christmas went by, I spent lots of time with the family, my son at the park, and I was just about to go back to work. I was about to come off holidays, and I thought, you know what? This car at the moment is worthless. No one would buy it. I said to my wife, can I borrow some money from our account? Now look, this is a difficult ask because this is an account that's going backwards because, yeah, the cost of everything's gone up. We're a single income household. Can I borrow some money to paint a car? It's crazy. And my wife, as lovely as she is, she said, yes, do it. So, got in the car, and I looked up a few painters in Ipswich, and I went for a drive. Hi guys, I'm down here with Harley from H&H Painting Panel. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you, mate.
For those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do here.
We're a paint and panel shop in Bundamba. We do a bit of resto, rust work, pretty much anything to do with paint and panel. No insurance work though, just more private work, like resprays on the old cars. We do a lot of old cars here.
Right, you're the kind of guy I'm after because a lot of panel shops that I've been to seem to only specialise in insurance work. Yeah. And it's like, they'll just give you a high price to get you to piss off basically because they're not interested. You've only had the Magna for what, 3 days now?
Yeah, it's not long.
Tell us a little bit about what you've found and what your plan is moving forward with it.
I found a lot of shortcuts that someone's previously done, unfortunately. For instance, it's not, to do the primer from there to there takes about 30 seconds, so it's just simple stuff like that. The edges are not being sanded, so it's going to flake up pretty soon. We've got overspray on windows, flaky paint, rust coming through on the surface on the roof. There's a few little things. The bumpers didn't have much hardener in it, so the primer's got to come completely off the bumpers and redo all them again. And pretty much just go over the whole car and start fresh. Yeah,
so one of the things that I was concerned about before I even met you, before I even found you, is that like I'm basically giving you a project that someone else has started. You don't know what's been done to it, what primer's been used, what's sitting underneath it.
It just happens more than it should do, I suppose, but so these things happen and you just got to keep pushing forward, I suppose.
Since you've got the car, tell us what you've done so far.
So we've blocked it all down, the body. You see all the high spots and low spots everywhere, so we're just going to probably reprime the whole car again. We buzzed it down with 180 and 320, and then we're just going over doing edges, took all the panels off, got to take handles out yet. We've got dirt under the belt molds, which is not ideal. So we'll have to just go over the whole car, do all the edges again. The bumpers, it sort of seem like they've just been a bit rushed. They've just been primed over, like cracks, as you can see here.
Yeah, so they have been smashed around a bit, especially the front one, the lip.
Yep, we've got to fix the cracks in the bottom. I don't like talking nil about anyone else. It's just been rushed, I think, to get it out the door.
It's looking good so far. There's been a lot of people hanging out, waiting to see his car finish. It's been about 6 months since I started this whole process, so
it's a long time.
A lot of time has passed, but good things take time. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you
very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
All right. See you guys soon. This thing looks incredible. And let me tell you the best part. This thing's been painted right about a week and a half ago now. This is how it looks straight off the gun. And then it's just sat in Harley's workshop for about a week and a half collecting dust. So don't get me wrong, it's very dirty at the moment. But the paint underneath it has not been buffed. Nothing's been done to it yet. So the plan is, I'm going to reassemble this car over the next few weeks. We're going to let the paint cure, harden off a little bit, because what we're going to do then is take it back to Harley, where he and the team are going to buff this thing to achieve, the glossiest black you've ever seen in your life. And then we'll do the final touches, like putting badges on and things like that. So really my rule here on reassembly is anything that goes back onto the car needs to be just as mint as what this car looks like at the moment. So all of the window rubbers, all of the trims, anything which goes on needs to, look brand new. So I'm going to be refinishing door handles. I've already done lots of window trims, rubbers, cleaned them all up, things like that. We just need to whack it all on the car. And I've got a few special touches special parts in the cupboard here as well. So look, I just want to thank all of you guys for sticking with me. You know, this has been one hell of a slog, but we're in the home stretch. This project has taken its toll on me, but I think it's going to be all the more satisfying when we actually finally finish this thing, get it out in the street under the sun and just see how it looks, because yeah, once everything's on it and it's been given a buff, I think this thing's going to look absolutely incredible. Big thanks to Harley from H&H Paint and Panel. Mate, you're a legend. You've done an absolutely fantastic job on this car, you and the team. So looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time to give it a buff. But in the meantime, have a good one. I'll see you next time.